get. That's what she likes. She likes diameter. I mean, it punches a big hole. I mean,
Sure do. Daniel Defense, Sop Mod 2, Build Drill. Ready?
Ready? No, not ready.
Last Minute Man, we are back on the range. I'm with my good buddy, Mr. Obvious. And Mr. Obvious, what are we talking about today?
My goodness, we're talking about, well, you can consider it one of the king of the cartridge, the 35 Whelen, one of the baddest rounds and punches above its weight class.
Yep, some say the poor man's Magnum. And I had a subscriber that said, I thought the 30-06 was the poor man's Magnum. I would say the 30-06 is definitely, what we say, the king of all cartridges.
It's the king.
Yeah. And the 35 Whelen, though, is the poor man's Magnum because, again, like Mr. Obvious stated, we're punching above our weight class here. You're basically taking a 30-06 cartridge, necking it up,
Yep.
and doing some very, very, very bad things.
Yep.
In a good way.
Yeah. Shooting a heavy bullet, and you got about the same charge as an alt-6 in powder weight, and moving faster with a heavier bullet.
It's crazy. Like,
crazy.
defies physics.
Yeah.
You know, it's so weird. But before we really get started today, folks, we want to thank all of our veterans and say Happy Memorial Day month. And it should be an entire month. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, what were you saying?
Well, they give other people a month. Hey.
Seems like every other demographic and everybody else
Yeah.
gets a whole month. Why aren't veterans getting a month?
Veterans
Absolutely.
deserve the month. They paid their dues to get that month.
And
Give it to them.
we can't thank them enough. I myself am a veteran, and Mr. Obvious, his father was one of the
World War II vets.
greatest generation. And so we salute all of you. No matter how you served, and you did a wonderful thing, and we appreciate you. And I sincerely mean that. Yeah. But, okay, so let's continue on with this here. Let's dry our eyes. Okay. And it's dust.
Yeah.
But anyway, 35 Whelen. Mr. Obvious purchased this brand new CVA Scout. And I was so excited. I said, man, you got another 35 Whelen. We had some subscribers ask questions, and we had some people that didn't quite believe the data we were getting. And they were saying, well, when I say they, a few guys. So I had about a dozen since we did this on the Encore. About a dozen people said, there's no way you're pushing it to that. It's impossible. Well, chronographs don't lie. I mean, they don't always agree, but they're going to be within 3% of each other. I mean, you're going to get very close data. And we're getting over 3,000 feet per second with a 200 grain bullet. And there are reasons why we are able to do that and how we know we're safe. I had another subscriber say, you're running 80,000 PSI. That's not true. We're not running anywhere near that. Yes, it's hot. I mean, I'm not saying everybody should go out and do what we're doing. So let's preface this by saying I'm not using that. Don't use this as a manual or a guide to say, well, Last Minute Man said I can do this. Well, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying. So there are ways to do this safely, and never do anything that you're not comfortable with. I would never tell anybody to push the envelope like this. Mr. Obvious has a lot of experience. Reloading. How many years you been a reloader there, Mr. Obvious?
Probably 40 some years.
Yep.
And reloading.
And he's tried different things, and there's things that he looks for. And I'll let him explain that as we go when we get to shooting. We're going to start out today shooting some very hot loads. Now, we've already worked these up and figured out our pressures on these, or Mr. Obvious has, I should say. He is the expert here on this particular rifle, and he's worked up some very hot loads, and there's reasons why, and we'll go ahead and talk about that. So, Mr. Obvious, and you've actually got exactly how many grains of powder and everything, and he wrote hot on there. Yeah. But explain, now this is a 200 grain projectile, and I'll walk up to the camera here. This is
That's a 180 grain.
and this is a 200 here.
That's a 200.
So I'll walk up to the camera and show folks. So these are both 200 grain projectiles. Well, Mr. Obvious, when I was asking him, how can you push these bullets and not these? You know, I ask these questions because I ask a lot of questions. So how do we do that, Mr. Obvious?
How is it pushing that much speed?
Well, why this 200 grain bullet and the way it's designed over this more Spitzer style?
We'll have to flash a picture up for that. We'll take pictures. This bullet has a lot longer runner. The bullet comes way down in the case more. This bullet here is real short. It only goes so far in the case. That's not a very accurate bullet. The runner's different.
Right.
So that bullet slips out of the barrel pretty easy. You know what I'm saying? It just, you got that big bore and you ain't got that big bottleneck. It ain't bottleneck way down like a 270, 25-06, 30-06. So you got that neck, you ain't got much of a shoulder on there.
Yeah.
So it's easier to push a big projectile out of a bullet, kind of a little easier than it is choking it up. And when you choke it up, you get a lot of pressure. When you get that bottleneck, the more it comes in bottleneck shape, like that, your angle, yeah, you're building pressure back behind it.
Right.
And that's really going to flatten your primers out big time.
Right.
Your pressure will go up quick.
When Mr. Obvious designed this load, he did so just to show off. He's wanting to show how hard you can push these things.
Yeah.
And people say, well, I had another guy when we did our encore. He said, you should never push them like that. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Well, I can say this. Does a Honda Civic need to run a 12-second flat quarter mile? No. I can get to the grocery store just as nice with it running a 16. Okay. But we're Americans, man. That's what we do. We push the envelope. We just try to see what things can do. How much horsepower can I get out of it? Now, as Mr. Obvious already stated, you lose accuracy. When you do that and you're pushing these that way, you lose accuracy. And we're going to test that theory today. Actually, we're just going to show you how hot these can be. And then we're going to get into some actual what we call good hunting cartridges.
Yeah.
The naysayers out there that say you can't push them like this, we're gonna prove you wrong today. So stick with us. All right, Mr. Obvious, what do you got there?
I've got an old Remington Model 33.
Remington 33. I'll say one of the best starter rifles that ever was made.
It's so old it don't even have a serial number on it.
Yeah, pretty awesome. But what we're going to do here is allow Mr. Obvious to shoot a couple shots through that chronograph so we can show you the speed we're getting on this 22 to kind of make sure everything's working, everything's copacetic, and you know there's no funny business. So go ahead, Mr. Obvious, and fire when ready. All right, now I'll walk down here. Woo, that was smoking. 1,229 feet per second. That was a hot little bugger there.
They usually run about 1,100.
Let's go ahead and fire another one. Let's see if it is consistent at least.
These is Remingtons.
All right. Yeah, these are hot 22s.
Yeah.
All right. So what we got there is 1,200 feet per second. So there we go. We know everything is working correctly. So now, Mr. Obvious.
Yeah.
It is time.
It is time.
Okay, so what do we got here? We got two different hot loads, what you're calling your real hot loads.
Yeah, best I can recollect of what I used to run, so.
Okay, well, and he worked things up here. So what Mr. Obvious does when he's shooting, he'll fire around, he'll check the primer. How flat the primer is, we kind of went over that in the previous video, just kind of showed. But there's things you do to check for pressures. One thing I can tell you is that if the round is very difficult to extract out of the chamber, that's probably about as hot as you want to go.
Yeah, you better back it down at that point.
Right. And the other thing is the primer. And he's looking at how hard that primer is being pushed. Now, is this the hottest load?
Yeah, this is the hottest load.
All right. Now, the other two you have, are those a little lighter?
The rest of them is like hunting loads.
You've got 4 of the same, though.
Yeah, I got 4 of the real hot ones.
Okay, well, we'll fire 2 through that sucker. All right, Mr. Obvious, fire when ready.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, sir. Good God, man. All right, now I'm going to go down here and show the chronograph. All right, and that was 3,049 feet per second. So you can look here, 3,049. And like I said, bear with us. I'm being tedious walking back and forth. But for people who say that's just not possible, and okay, now he's going to shoot the same load through the Contender or the Encore. And this doesn't have a muzzle brake, but I'll still step behind you here. And let him shoot, same load, just to see if there's an increase with 3-inch longer barrel here. Now this is going to recoil. Good God, man. I got to keep saying that. It's just so great. Now I'll go down here. And that was significant. So that's 3,148 feet per second. So there you go with that. Can I shoot it, Mr. Obvious? Can I?
Sure.
All right. Let's switch. Let's make this happen, Mr. Obvious. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I got to back this way. This is something else. He magnifies the scope so much, I'm just like, it does nothing for me to do that. All right, here we go. Ready?
Ready.
And that one a little lighter. Go ahead and show it. 3,085.
All right.
So you can see consistently they're all over 3,000 feet per second.
Yeah, that one there is a half grain, actually, I think hotter, but
Okay.
it won't chamber, so we're going to just discard it.
I can tell you this. That'll wake you up in the morning.
Yeah, yeah, it will.
Shooting that thing is like boom. Oh God. It lets you feel alive. You know, I love it. Okay, Mr. Obvious. So now we're transitioning just to the CVA Scout. And we're going for an accuracy load. You're working up your load for hunting.
Yeah.
So what are we starting with?
I'm starting at a starting load with H335 with this 200 grain bullet Hornady. So that's what we're starting with. And this is the FTX bullet.
Okay.
FTX. And I'm going to shoot a hotter load than this, but we're going to zero the gun as we go. So we're putting this one on the steel target.
Okay.
And we're going to kind of see where we're hitting at.
And how many grains of powder is this?
The starting load, 57 grain. It's low.
So this is a very safe load. This is Ogden 335, correct?
Yeah.
And he's just putting this on the steel target down there.
Yeah.
And we're working up and seeing. And we'll shoot this with the chronograph to show you what a light load. This is a 200 grain bullet.
Yeah. Yeah, just a starter.
Man, and that's still, you can feel the pressure off that, even with it being a lighter load. That is hot, and you can tell. And I'll walk down here and show you the chronograph. And we are at 2,823 feet per second. And that is, according to the 47th edition Lyman manual, that's a pretty light load, correct, Mr. Obvious?
You're already running a 200 grain bullet at starting load that a 30-06 is pushing a 165 to 180 grain bullet.
I know, it's pretty amazing.
That's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah, it's something. So let's go ahead. Where did you hit there, Mr. Obvious?
I hit straight above it about probably 7 inches, 8 inches.
Did you adjust at all?
No, I'm not going to adjust. I will
Let's
after
see.
this shot.
Correct. Let's see how it does, and then we'll adjust after that. See if we're consistent at least. That was right next to it, a little lower and to the left.
Yeah.
And I'll show you the chronograph every time because we got people that don't believe us. So 2,807 feet per second. Okay. And I hate to be tedious here, folks, but it's just the way we do things. It's the only way to keep everybody happy, except people that want to be entertained, I guess.
Okay, let's see if we can put that one right in there around the black. I just made my adjustment.
Okay.
Since them didn't stack it on top of each other pretty close, I mean, we're about that far apart.
Yep.
So we're going ahead and see if we can get this one in the black.
There you go. Wow. Okay.
Drilled the black out.
Yep, that's awesome. Awesome. Okay, and that was a little bit slower, but you can see these are fairly consistent. 2,755 feet per second. So now we're going to go over here and get on paper. Okay, so this is a standard load, 200 grain bullet.
Yeah, it's not hot. They're just trying to get a good hunting load, speed and hunting.
Okay, so this is a 200 grain bullet. And we'll show the chronograph, and we should have the picture in picture up.
Top right.
Top right. So go ahead and fire.
Shooting at the square.
All right, that was 2,649 feet per second. So you'll just have to take my word for it, folks. That was a little lighter. 2,649. You can see it there. Okay, so here we go. He's going to fire up the next one. We'll see how we're grouping. All right. Now, that was a little hotter. That was 2,732 feet per second. Man, there's a lot of pressure coming off that. And that is 2,797. So that's pretty hot.
Pretty hot.
All right, so now I'm shooting, and I guess I'm going to the target just to the left of what Mr. Ravi has shot, and we're going with, I'll just go ahead and tell you, 60 grains of Varget.
Yeah, it's under max load, 1 grain. About
1 grain under max load.
50th edition
and,
Lyman.
We're That's 2,650 feet per second. So I'm hitting, 12 inches under.
That low?
Yeah, man. These are shooting way low. So that's 2,642 feet per second. That's obvious. So we came down here to look at these. And again, why do we love a 35 Whelen? Does it have a lot of power?
It's got a lot of power, but I tell you what, I will not be shooting steel targets with it no more.
No, no, why not, Mr. Obvious?
Well, look at my damn target.
Well, let's see what happened here. Now, we've shot this with 300 Win Mags, 338s, 375 H&H Magnum, and none of them
and 7mm
have ever done that.
It went clean through the target.
Oh, look at this. Holy smokes. All right, so let me, it definitely did. And
that's that 200 grain hot
on. That's the hot stuff, man. Holy shnikes, Batman. And this is AR 500 steel. And what do we got here?
3/8.
Okay.
100 yards.
Guys, I don't give a damn what anybody else says. That's hot. That is hot, son. So, Mr. Obvious shot with his accurized load. And where'd you hit here, Mr. Obvious? It's funny because we shot the same.
Yeah, I mean, I hit here. That may have been my first shot.
It was.
And then my second shot, my third shot.
Somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
And then I believe this was my first shot. These were my next two.
Yeah.
So it's printing low, I will definitely say. We're aiming right here in the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And what I did was when I shot the first one, I put the crosshairs here, it hit low. So I put the crosshairs at the top. And my last two, and I was actually on paper. So we got to raise that. And I'm floored, man. I'm telling you, we have shot this thing with a 375 H&H.
That's a 200 grain bullet.
And it didn't do that.
That's a Sierra 200 grain round nose. Is all
Okay, Mr. Obvious. Last bullets we're testing out today, and these are factory loads instead of hand loads. And these are Super Performance Hornady. And these are 200 grain, correct?
Yep. 200 grain Super Performance.
All right.
Factory loads.
So we're going to shoot these, see what they do through the chronograph, and see if we can get a good grouping. We're not getting good groups with this, folks. And we're consistently, our first shot is consistently low, and the other two are consistently about 3 minutes. So
yep.
Let's see what it does here.
So I'm going to go for about the middle of the target.
Okay.
The third one to the right, middle
Okay.
of the target.
God, the pressure off that. Good God, man. All right. 2,997 feet per second. So that's a factory load. Yep. So guys that were saying you can't go 3,000 feet per second, yep. Well, that's 2,997, and that's a factory 200 grain bullet.
The muzzle velocity on this says 2,910.
So we're right there. Golly, man, that is hot stuff. 2,978 feet per second.
If I'm seeing right, it's hitting high.
Let's put that last one in there. Now that one was 3,000 feet per second. And again, folks, these are factory Super Performance Hornadays.
I think it's stacked them.
All right, Mr. Obvious. I think we found the best load.
Yep.
So far. Now, show this here. Now, he was aiming right here.
Yeah.
So we are shooting high, so he can adjust. But this was a shot I made.
Yep, from here.
And we went back in the video and verified that. So those three.
Here and there.
Okay. So, and what are you looking at there? You're looking at your first 1 1/4. But that's all right. You know, I mean, we're happy with that. I can tell you this, it's not from lack of power. I mean, I'm never going to shut up about it. And we are back with our after action report. And what do we have to report today, Mr. Obvious?
I'm going to report, obviously, I'm disgusted a little bit.
Yeah, what about?
I got holes in my target, my LR500 steel target, and
Yeah.
my hand loads is just all over the place. I guess from this old brass. I don't know.
Well,
I'm disgusted.
it happens. And, you know, we got some things to work out, some kinks to work out. But this is how the sausage is made, people. Okay? It ain't pretty, but this is how you do it. This is how you get to these good loads. And something I have always strived to do on this channel is show you guys, like, everything. I'm not cutting any corners. I'm not trying to make us look good. I show it the way it is, you know, and
what you get's what you see.
Yeah. I mean,
what you see is what you get.
There you go. And, you know, that it is what it is, folks. And this is how you do it, though. This is how you build up. And a lot of these guys, they'll show you after they've done all this, okay, and done all this planning and all their wizardry, you know, they'll show you stuff, but we're showing you real time as it goes. We're not a gun channel, really. We just do what we like to do, and you know, no one pays us to do it. We have fun doing this. But all that aside, no one's sponsoring us, no one's paying us. Number one. Number two, that's the baddest damn round I've ever seen. I've never seen a 50 cal. I would expect to shoot through that.
Yeah.
But holy smokes, man. That's bad.
Clean hole right through A500 steel, just a clean hole.
Oh.
You took a drill bit and went through it.
Oh.
Didn't bulge it out the back. It just made a hole clean through.
Oh, it's just
like it's lasered in.
What can you say, man?
Right there.
Sierra, it's called Sierra. This is called, and I'll get up on the camera here, but Sierra Pro Hunter.
Show the end, and it's got the number of the bullet too. It's a round nose, 200 grain.
Pro Hunter.
There's the number.
Okay.
Yep.
And just so you can see what the bullet looks like Mr. Obvious was talking about the short runner bullet. So there you go. You can really push these things. And, folks, it is what it is. This thing's bad, man. If we could get this shooting very accurate, I mean, we're shooting, what, 5 minutes with this?
Yes.
3 to 5 minutes, but that's okay. Because, damn, I don't care if you're in a tank.
Yeah.
That's got to make you flinch.
100 yards. Yeah, 100 yards, you can kill a deer every time you get on out there. It's going to spread out.
To get in what we're talking about, guys, this is, as Mr. Obvious stated at the beginning of the video, this is a caliber that punches above its weight class.
Way above.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This is, it's something, man. This is, I'm very impressed with it. You know, we'll continue to work this out. And by all means, those of you who are out there working up loads for these, if you've got a pet load that works very well, let us know, especially in the CVA Scout. We're actually, the best thing we had was the Superformance.
Yeah.
From Hornady. We're getting, 1.25 to 1.5 MOA out of the CVA Scout. Now, we've watched videos where guys were getting 1 MOA.
Yeah, and we're running, the last shot was 3,000 feet per second out. That's
so,
chronograph.
again, and not to put too fine a point on it, folks, but we've had guys, it's easy to state something as fact when you've done no research. You can just say things to say things. Do a little bit of research, okay? I've said dumb things before, okay?
Ain't we all?
Open mouth, insert foot. I've had to do that. But, yeah, factory loads moving 3,000 feet per second plus, or a little less. But, yeah, you can definitely push these things, man. And they are impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as power, impressive. As far as, if you want to talk about ballistic coefficiency and this and that, 22 250. Okay, 6.5 Creedmoor is going to give you better ballistic coefficiency, and it's going to shoot straighter, flatter, and all that. But if you want to talk about a humane kill on anything in North America, there is nothing I can think of.
No, this will go through a deer, through its neck and out its buttocks in the back.
In the buttocks.
Yeah, in the buttocks.
Yeah.
It'll go clean through it, one end out the other.
Yeah.
Whelen will.
Doesn't even have to open its mouth.
No.
It'll
It'll go clean through it.
And it will. There are many fellers putting down elk with these, moose, filling freezers all over the country. This is just an impressive round, an impressive caliber. And, to say that this was made in the 1920s, I think is when this came out. So if you're wanting a very good historic, I guess, perspective on this, what was the guy's name? Desert Dog
Outdoors.
Mm-hmm. And I'll flash it up on screen here. But that guy did an outstanding job of talking about, I always thought Townsend Whelen did the
invention of the
and he didn't.
35 Whelen.
He didn't.
Is actually a gunsmith.
But anyway, we're not going to reinvent the wheel here, because I'm not going to plagiarize and do that kind of thing. If somebody does something right, I'd like to just send you straight there. And I mean, that guy's doesn't need our help or anything. We're nobodies, but he did an outstanding job on that. So definitely watch that video. And he goes through a real, very, very, very in-depth history on it.
Yeah, he does a real good job breaking it down.
Outstanding. So I say all this to say this. What we set out to do today was to show you how amazing this round is, how exciting it is. It is a Wildcat cartridge. This is something that was designed to play with. Am I wrong?
And it's got penetration. You see that?
Yeah. Anyway, guys, be careful out there. I mean, I'm not, don't do what we do. Okay, we are what you call crazy, and we have a good time. We enjoy ourselves, but guys, be safe.
Yeah, we're safe crazy.
Yeah, you know.
We go to the limit, but we don't go above it.
I've never had a speeding ticket. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, me either.
But anyway, so with all that, I say this: thank you to all of our veterans, guys. Hats off to you, and I mean sincerely, we have what we have today because of the sacrifices men and women like you made, and we appreciate you. I am a veteran myself, and I just don't have words.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the country we've got today, even though it's a little upside down, but I think it'll rebound.
We'll be okay.
But the veterans has saved this country till what you see today.
Yeah.
And hats off to them. You can't say no more.
Yeah. And, we
man's round. Get something that's got some diameter to it. That's what she likes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what she likes. She likes diameter. I mean, it punches a big hole. I mean,
Sure do. I will say this though, guys. The best way to defend and protect your Second Amendment rights is to exercise them. Buy different guns. Try new things, man. You'll find something you like. And it's one thing to have a 223 and your ARs, and I love them. And I've got AKs, ARs. We got SKSs and bolt guns and this and that. But you never know what you really like until you try them all, right?
Yeah.
And there's always something new coming out. So try it out, enjoy it, have fun, exercise your Second Amendment rights, because the more guns and ammunition that's out there, the more difficult it is to round it all up. You get what I'm saying? So with that, everybody, remember, keep your knives sharp, keep your powder dry.
Subscribe to Last Minute Man and watch us all.
Rumble!